Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another reaction. We're checking out the brand new music video by OnlyOneOf, Soul Drift. Now, as always, there's a message in the description of this video, so let's check it out first before getting into it. The message reads as follows. Seoul is the city of brilliant lights. Underneath those lights, there are also young people who've been hurt by others and who are wandering along the dotted lines of lostness or loneliness. The new album of OnlyOneOf, who came back as a group after a year, is named Soul Collection for a reason. The 6 members have sung the dreams and hopes of young minorities by presenting Underground Idol, the diary of the youths, one after another last year. The reason stories are woven together with the voices of all 6 members this time is that the album captures the stories of Seoul's loneliness and solitude, and those who are hurt in this city. The title track, Soul Drift, starts the engine of the song with a car exhaust sound synthesizer line and races forward. The loneliness and wandering aren't painted with silent darkness. Rather, they are sped up to the verge of hallucination and to their very limit. They are raised to the extent that they can no longer keep up and get exhausted. The song of left field bass genre puts together Seoul's glamorous lights and the dark reality on the city's other side as music. Seoul is now one of the most prominent cities in the world. K-pop has also become a genre that not only Koreans listen to. Everything in the city has become more glamorous and bustling, but that doesn't mean everyone is happy. OnlyOneOf always sings about loneliness and pain or the stories of those whose love isn't blessed. We often simply brush them off as something minor, but there are stories that someone should caress and embrace. Caress or OnlyOneOf hopes that there will be more unknown gods' blessings in these difficult steps being taken, and that there will be blessings from our fans whom we appreciate and whose names you may not know. So I feel like this message right here, along with the Underground Idol series, a lot of people who feel like they are voiceless, they're going to feel like they have a bit of that voice. It might inspire them to go the extra mile as far as like being more out in the open, or at the very least, if they're still afraid of it because of, you know, whether it's the circumstances that you are in, whether it's the society that you are in, the environment that you are in, that doesn't really allow you to express yourself to the fullest degree, to the point where you don't care about anyone who's watching. At the very least, I feel like this message, along with the Underground Idol series, is going to be used as almost like a bit of a comforting blanket, so to speak, to make you feel like you're not alone. And even though these lights are very bright, the city itself feels incredibly cold. So this blanket is going to be incredibly comforting, and it's going to make you feel like you belong and that someone understands you. And I definitely feel like OnlyOneOf definitely is going the extra mile of trying to make the point that we see you, we know who you are, even if you feel like you are invisible, we see you and you're not alone. So it's a beautiful message, and I'm very excited to get into this song. So without further ado, let's go.
Gotta take it when we up, yeah, ayy. 잡힐 듯 말 듯 chase ya, baby. 자유로워 make the bass up. 바람을 다 던져가.
The phone booth makes an appearance again.
No stress, that's endless. 이 도시에 펴진 여기는 it don't make sense. I made it. Canvas 맞춰진 내 aim shoot. 네가 걷는 꿈 위로 탈춤 don't ever frame us. I'm famous. Step back and 보다 빨리. I got bars where I'm always whole trips. 내 자신을 감히 맞지. Step on 직진. 자 너리 그래 들죠. Soul drift. 나나만 보고 driving like round,
Oh.
round, yeah, yeah. 우리는
Oh my
엇갈린
God.
썩고 정답은 나고 내 끌리는 길로 비껴가는 high beat but I ain't got no feel, yeah, yeah, yeah. 우리는 빛이 되어 get more freedom 정답은 나고 내 끌리는 길로.
I love how aggressive the instrumental is.
Fire on my back, there's no time to wait. 밤처럼 we're born this way, baby. Can't take your eyes on me, gremlin, I got you.
I guess that's the Lady Gaga reference, perhaps. We're born this way. Maybe?
We're born this way, baby. Can't take your eyes on me, gremlin, I got you. Tell me if you want to.
Damn, that's really cool. Like a nice continuation. This kind of reminds me a little bit, plus with the washing machines in the background of Baby Driver. And like literally music, our music is what is going to liberate you, basically, which is a really cool touch too.
여긴 seoul drift 어린 알지 못해 그 속은 복잡할 뿐이야 그대로 괜찮아 우리는 완전한 하나의 formula.
Nice way to continue the storylines.
짧아 밖은 slow show 이 다른 누구 정답은 나고 내 끌리는 길로 The way you're going is the real 여긴 seoul drift.
Oh. Damn. And damn, that was really, really cool. Like literally fucking feeling liberated. Like unleashed. Oh. Oh, that was cool. Damn. Holy shit. That was amazing. I love how aggressive that was. It might be my favorite song so far that I've checked out, you know, with the Underground Idol and the last music video that we checked out. Like, this sounds absolutely awesome. And I love that low-key there's like a continuation of the storylines with the pairs that were created in the Underground Idol series. So it was really, really cool to see Yoojung and KB be so, like, Yoojung specifically be so incredibly confident when he got into that car. It's really, really interesting. It's like finding each other is like one person represents, it's almost like KB represents like the group itself and Yoojung represents like that person within Seoul, basically, who feels left out, who feels like he's out in the dark, but instead of being surrounded by darkness, he's literally surrounded by lights. And much like they said in the description, like creating like that hallucination effect and whatnot. It's like by using an exhaust, it's almost like it's so exhausting to be in the bright darkness, I guess, with Seoul, which is really, really cool. A really nice play on the fact, like, it's almost like it's almost like being super depressed, but yet going to freaking Disneyland and everybody's so happy, but you're so lonely and miserable, in a way, as Seoul is so beautiful and surrounded by all of these neon lights, and there's such glamour and glitz and whatnot, within it. So it almost makes you feel worse, that you feel so shitty and you feel like you don't belong even more. And I love that once again, the phone booth, which is like low-key the real MVP of OnlyOneOf, is making an appearance once again. And I feel like Yu Zhang is probably like talking on the phone to KB potentially, because he's smiling and whatnot. So like pretty much like setting up a meeting of some sorts, which is really, really interesting too. The scene with the washing machines and the headphones really reminds me right off the bat of Baby Driver, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's absolutely incredible. And it's like music is what connects us in a way, if they want to kind of like present that message to the rest of the fans who may feel this way. So our music is what is going to kind of like liberate you, and they literally have like that moment of liberation within the actual choreography too, which was really, really cool. That spin that they did in the choreography right beforehand almost like represents fighting, you know, darkness, fighting the distractions, fighting whatever that is kind of like putting you down. It also kind of like reminded me, low-key reminds me of one of Dreamcatcher's moves, which was really, really cool too. So whenever I mention another group, it's always as a compliment. So you know, just in case. And I love all of these lyrics. Hit me, I'm painless, no stress, I'm stainless, like stainless steel, so you can hit me and nothing is going to happen. It is really, really cool. And when they're listening to that music, you know, that is when they have their groove and all that kind of stuff, which is also really cool. The dream I'm walking on, the move I'll be dancing on top of, don't ever frame us, I'm famous. That's cool. Almost like a double meaning as far as framing, but also framing as if like something bad, but also frame us like a photo frame, I'm famous. um but also like a freeze frame. So I guess it's a triple entendre. I'm not sure if that's what they meant, but like, don't you cannot freeze us, freeze frame, I'm famous, you cannot stop us, basically, is potentially the meaning. Speed up faster than a rocket. I'm on my way, soul drift. My own instinct was right. So there was also like a feeling of instinct in Chrome Arts, as well as far as like not fighting that instinct within you that wants to break out. As in the choreography, they literally do break out. So it seems like, and like the whole soul drift is a really cool play on the actual city, but also your soul itself that is drifting away in this city that is almost like never sleeps, which I'm pretty sure that it's not Seoul, the city that never sleeps. There's another city, an American one, but it's almost like I'm drifting away. My soul is drifting away in the city of Seoul, which is also really, really cool. And again, like it's drifting because I'm fighting the instinct, but in the end, the instinct was right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it was Junji and Rie. Rie, I believe, is the one who kind of broke it off, as they had like that scene in the phone booth with the sunset hovering, not hovering, the sunset was in the background, as Rie, I believe, was in the phone booth and Junji was outside, and that was like the representation of their breakup. And here, that same phone, possibly that same phone booth, or a phone booth with Rie basically like calling up to Junji, perhaps. I'm not sure. Or it's like calling your instincts that were right from the very beginning, so I was wrong in pushing you away. Because I was so afraid of being seen in public with you from their storyline. If I hope that I'm not mixing their names. KB's looking badass, and kind of like he has such a presence about him. Like, I wish he was more prominent in a way. And same thing I said in Chrome Arts too. But at the same time, like, these guys are so powerful that I can't really be like, take this line away from this person and give it to KB. Like, it feels like, even though I wish KB had a little bit more, at the same time, all of them did so well. And I love the lines of, we become the light and get more freedom. I'm the answer and going for the path that draws me in. As far as like no longer being forced to go down a different path that I don't belong in, but rather like realizing my worth and realizing that the answer was in front of me all along. The whole line would we were born this way, which kind of reminded me of Lady Gaga in a way, as far as like not being afraid of who you are, how you dress, how you feel, how you look. Just embrace yourself. Chances are there will always be someone who feels the same way as you and will find you incredibly relatable. You will always find someone that will complete you, but also first complete yourself instead of finding someone that completes you. So before having someone complete you, first complete yourself and accept yourself for who you are. And once you do that, that's when KB is going to arrive in that car and take you away, basically. Very nice. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the neon lights everywhere. I love the balance between the red lights and the blue lights too, and even like the red lights in the washing machine scenes. It almost like represents like the red doesn't. The red represents like basic instinct in a way, and it represents love, kind of. Whereas the blue perhaps also represents a little bit of like sadness and depression, which is like, you know, the whole premise of the message of the song, as far as like your soul drifting away in these bright lights and whatnot. And take the steering wheel that'll lead you, basically take charge of your own life and take the steering wheel and drive to where you need to go, instead of, you know, look. It's almost like instead of looking for someone, much like we just talked about, someone to complete you and take you on that ride, take charge of that car and take charge of the wheel and just drive straight ahead. So by taking charge of that wheel, that is when you kind of like accepted yourself first. So that is really, really cool. And again, they're kind of touching on, you know, the part where you may feel confused and struggle because you don't know what to do. Like the head won't understand. It only feels so complicated inside, but it's all right the way it is. Will always be the complete one formula. It kind of goes against what I was just saying as far as like accepting yourself first, whereas here it's almost like will be the complete one formula, like we'll complete each other. But I guess in this scenario too, as far as like OnlyOneOf goes and trying to relate to those who don't have a voice, so it's like we'll be that one formula together. We'll help you understand, and by realizing that you're not alone in this battle that you're going through. And also there's a really cool thing happening with KB and Yujon at the end there when they're driving away and there's no license plate, which is interesting, also illegal, but interesting. But the cool thing is that there's a sunflower inside the truck, and sunflowers, as someone who should know by now the meaning of sunflower, as I talked about it many, many times and actually have a sunflower tattoo. Sunflowers symbolize loyalty, adoration, and also they symbolize unwavering faith and unconditional love. The sunflower is really, really an interesting touch. This whole music video was really, really cool. I love how aggressive it was with the instrumental, and like the aggression driving the loneliness of the individuals who feel like they're lost, and like using darkness and flipping it, and because you live in such a bright city, so the brighter it is, the lonelier it is in reality, is also really, really cool. So if I made any sense, let me know in the comment section down below. This was absolutely awesome, and honestly, shout out to Yujan as always, but also to Junji. He was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, all of them were great, obviously. That I definitely have something with KB. There's something really, really powerful about his presence. But yeah, just in general, I really love the way they tied all of their storylines from the Underground Idol series together here. It really feels like the Junji and Rie storyline. It was not a breakup, but rather a goodbye for now. And now it almost feels like, now that Rie had, because Rie was the one who made the phone call, it's like he was the one who needed to step out of the shadow, so to speak, because he was afraid of being seen, whereas Junji didn't really give a fuck. This was awesome. I really, really enjoyed this song, and I love this instrumental a lot. And this might be my favorite song by them so far. So if I made any sense, let me know in the comment section, as always. And if you want to touch on something else, feel free to do so in the comment section. And make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See ya.